Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich coming with more Company of Heroes 2 action. This is 1v1 in Crossing in the Woods between Donnie Chan up here in the North playing the OKW, fielding Breakthrough Doctrine, Luftwaffe Ground Forces, and of course Special Operations. His opponent down in the South is going to be a gentleman we haven't seen too often, but who I have a couple of replays for. It's PanzerGrenadierAngreifen. Greifen, E-I-I-E. There we go, Angreifen, there we go. I'll explain this confusion in just a second. He is playing the Purple Soviets, looking very fashionable in those fuchsia colors. He's bringing to the fray guard rifle combined arm tactics, which is rarely, if ever, seen by me. They are still quite good. Guard motor coordination tactics and shock rifle frontline tactics. So it might be guards either direction, or it be those shock troops with the late game 8kv8 and IS-2s. Like I said before already, it's crossing in the woods, which means we'll see that central bridge position as well as the dried up riverbed to the west and over to the east, well, a little bit of a marsh as well. Early game barbed wire coming out instead. Of course, we're just seeing the very standard openings from most southern players, throw up some defenses to hold this center position because this is your lifeline. If this was your rifle, it'd be your gun, and you would stay at exactly the same space no matter what. So let me explain the whole PnzrGrenadierAngreifen thing. I will say it the wrong way 9 times out of 10, but if you want to know the correct way, in German, with EI happens, or IE, whatever the second one is, use the long version of that vowel. So if it's IE, it's going to be a long E. If it's an EI, it's a long I. So, as opposed to, if it was reversed, it'd be Angreifen, but it's Angreifen. Now see, don't you feel smarter already? Anyway. Donnie Chan opening up a couple Volksgrenadiers and a Kubelwagen. The Kubelwagen is trooping on around. It's probably going to harass. Maybe. I thought he was going to harass. He's going to harass his combat engineers a little bit, I think. Not going to do much damage to them, though. He will get rid of their hard work, which has to be demoralizing his combat engineers. I just put that wire up and you guys are knocking it all over already. Dang, kids. But the Kubelwagen will get pushed out soon enough, I do think. Field Infirmary already has been completed, though, for PanzerGrenadier. And I'm wondering why this Kubelwagen is hanging out for so long. He's going to take a lot of firepower. Might even get taken out here. And there he goes. That was a big loss already. That's not cheap. Not cheap at all, my friends. Yeah, only 210, but it's still... first of all, it's the principle of the thing. And second of all, that 210 can be used to harass points behind your enemy's front lines. We will see the Germans, though, have leveraged their greater numbers into creating a fuel advantage, and I hadn't thought about that. They got the Kubelwagen lost, but they got at least 5 fuel out of it, which is a positive swing. You can see, of course, the thing costs no fuel whatsoever. Now, PanzerGrenadier, he's going for a couple of Maxims to back up his troops and bolster their ranks. One to the west, it's fairly well sighted. The Maxim has recently gotten a field of fire kind of upgrade. Was it 60 degrees to 90 degrees? I think that's about what it was. There's a lot of concern that they weren't able to truly contribute to the battle space. And now, look at them. Look at them. It's a massive, massive chunk of range of fire. Not sure how to call it. But this last bit of steel barricade is going to get zapped out of existence in about 3 seconds, I feel. Conscripts in the meantime, there we go. Conscripts in the meantime, trooping on force to take away this munitions point from the Germans, but it's not going to last too long. A triple Volksgrenadier will be enough and much more maneuverable, I would say, much more ability maneuverable than the dual Maxims and now 3 infantry squads overall from the Soviets. Germans don't seem to care too much about that munitions point, instead trooping on over here to decap this fuel position, hiding behind or creating this little sandbags right here. Good idea there. But all of Stalin's boys are coming over to the west to say hello. And we're also going to see a battle group headquarters has gone down for Donnie Chan. We'll get this up in time. He will. If he gets behind the sandbags, it'd be perfect for him. Retreat behind the sandbags, men. Nope, they get caught out on the wrong side. Those poor Joes. I'm not sure they're going to make it across the open field either. They're losing troops like crazy. Only 2 brave men left in their own private Alamo. And they're going to just kind of hustle out of there as soon as they can, as safely as they can. In the meantime, Storm Pioneers are coming in and around onto these Maxims, and with Volksgrenadiers flanking the other direction, this guy's between a rock and a hard place. Now he's squirted out from between that rock and a hard place, but he's not squirted without losing a little bit of blood. And dropping a model in the middle part of that road. As 5 minutes and 15 seconds have gone by, we will see Donnie Chan is up 500 to 454 with a 2-to-1 cap. Of course, with the addition of the second Maxim, Donnie is compelled, ever so slightly, to back away. In the meantime, we are going to see ourselves a half-track coming out for the Germans, and if he plops that down right in the middle part of the space, he'll dominate the Crossroads. And that's a great, great place to be. But for the time being, these dual Maxims have their day. Not sure what just happened there. Forgive me, guys. And Donnie Chan decided to go for that Special Operations Doctrine, so the Panther command tank at the end of the road, but of course the Infiltration Tactics Grenades, the STG-44s, that could be a very, very juicy set of upgrades for the OKW at this point in time. Donnie, in the meantime, has to be very aware of the fact that now he's got those incendiary grenades as well as the Fausts. Not that he really wants to use either one too often, but we will see an immediate incendiary grenade popping out and popping off. An interesting decision there. There's a half-track coming out, and he's going to pour Unholy God fire into these retreating conscripts, and indeed will pour just as much fire into the Maxims. I'm surprised he's not rotating fire over to it immediately. Indeed, we'll see an incendiary grenade going back. Drops a model, but, you know, not that stellar. Could have gone way, way more. But it looks like across the map, PanzrGrenadier's forces are being forced back. Forces being forced back. I'll think of better construction sometimes. But every now and again, I'm just a victim of my own tongue. And English is my mother tongue, which is so weird that I can't speak in it occasionally. Volksgrenadiers will chase away these combat engineers, but not before losing out control on this fuel point. And indeed, I don't see any mines yet, really, for either side, which is a lucky thing for, I would argue, the Germans, because they don't have the means by which to remove them. Mortars come out. In the meantime, has a... Ooh, resistance coming out as well. Interesting. Rocky Flamethrower coming on force, trying to push against this garrison, and realize it's probably not a good place to be between two squads of Volksgrenadiers and as a half-track. But this Maxim, again, continues to cause trouble. I'm wondering, is the guy in range? Yes, he is. He's going to start firing at the wood pile, and we may not have a woodshed, but those guys are going to get a whooping anyway. Storm Pioneers, in the meantime, putting down some shoe mines back on the major roads, heading back towards the German position. But that mortar is going to start pushing out that Volksgrenadier squad. But yeah, so there's a mine right there. Very well sighted, I would argue. And now the Germans are taking that last little bit of green cover away from the Soviets, and they will control the horizontal. They will control the vertical. And anybody who recognizes that as the beginning to the outer limits, I'll be very, very impressed. A half-track comes down, turns around, starts spitting fire. And yep, it will be the end of that particular push from the conscripts. Chalks up, how many kills does that thing have already? 8 kills. He's been on the battle space for what? A minute and a half? Very well done from him. And backing up, he's going to pour more fire into this Maxim. The Maxim, as good as it is not going to be able to stand up to firepower of this magnitude. The question is, where's that Zis gun? He's in the area. So the question is, okay, he's going to pop that smoke. He's going to catch that beautiful butterfly, and he's going to make it out alive that last round, just barely missing to the right-hand side. Storm Pioneers are close enough they can go and repair it. No, he's going to wander back way further into his own backfield before he regrettably loses that valuable vehicle's life. Mortars, in the meantime, going to come up against a squad of Volksgrenadiers who've charged forwards and forced them back with a modicum of effort. In the east, this position continues to hold strong, which I'm very surprised about. But it won't last for very long. We're going to see combat engineers, one with flamethrower, one with a minesweeper coming on in. Not that I'm too worried about this guy, but that flamethrower is going to do a ton of damage, and those guys are not getting out alive, are they? It's kind of iffy. Very iffy. His only hope is that these guys automatically aggro to the Rakettenwerfer, but no, that won't be the case. A half-track is here, though, to stop this push. And with these guys in negative cover, they're going to drop somebody at least on the retreat. And again, I'm forced to eat my hat as nothing happens to them. Triple Cap will be happening fairly soon, I would think. 3 seconds, 5 seconds? 492 to 398. The Soviets are getting trounced by quite a bit. Meanwhile, off to the east, we will see this Rakettenwerfer looks like has, my grandfather would say, tits on a bull, as these conscripts are just calmly building a defensive position just out of their reach. Not that they could do much if they wanted to. Mortar team, in the meantime, trying to find and failing to hit these Volksgrenadiers. Sturmpire is forced back as well, and these guys have a... Oh my gosh, they had a huge field of fire, 180 degrees, literally. Meanwhile, over on the eastern side, it doesn't matter if these conscripts have a good position. They're going to get forced back, but so does the half-track as well. So the question is, can he safely put the SWS down right here with the Schreier Panzer headquarters? We'll know soon enough when he decides, but for the moment, that may not be the best option. He gets sieged down pretty quickly, if he's not careful. Now, combat engineers are threatening to go and take this VP away from the Germans, but the Germans, as of right now, 492 to 349. That doesn't seem like he needs too much help to beat back the initial Soviet position. The Schumann will get found out, and that's a bit of a loss for the Germans. It could have been a very, very fun surprise for anybody too foolish to really pay attention to where he's going. Maxim to the west is going to take some real damage here. Wow, I'm surprised by this. Now, these Volksgrenadiers were more aware to be able to skip out behind and not take any fire whatsoever. But the Maxim is taking enough health damage that it's not that bad for the Germans. MT-34, in the meantime, has these guys out in the open. This is definitely a suppression device. Takes out one model, but forces the other ones back in return. And will we see? Nope, we're not going to see any incendiary grenades. Instead, we'll see some STGs popping off in just a second or two. As the Schreier Panzer headquarters takes a very defensive stance. Not really able to cover the Crossroads or this Eastern Road all that much. But, you know, I guess it would be too much to back away from. So combat engineers have tossed down a mine, and they've been immediately found out. And there's Donnie Chan's Strong Pioneer Squad doing some good diffusing of the situation. This gun's in the middle part of the field. Meanwhile, his troops will suffer on the eastern side yet again, as without the backup of that particular device, this gun's its infantry is going to continue to take some losses here. Middle part of the field, we will see the T-70s evidencing himself, taking out 4 kills already. Volksgrenadiers backing away. That thing is sometimes just way too accurate for my liking. And what are we seeing? We're seeing somebody's upgrading, but the question is with what? There we go, some more SDGs. So SDGs all around, my friends. And the Soviets really need to watch out for their infantry fights now, because they're not going to last particularly well. Meanwhile, the western side, we'll see Volksgrenadiers and this MG-34 put some suppression out onto a retreating mortar squad. Well, these guys turn around immediately and throw off a Faust. Well, maybe they will once they get the actual munitions for it, but for the time being, they don't have it. So he's forced to back away instead. But 1336, most things are still coming up Milhouse for the Germans. Overall, I will say that neither play has really lost that many squads. There has been the occasional loss here and there, but I can't be too harsh on their maintenance, shall we call it. And I think, yep, he has seen the double Zis gun, and he's backing away very quickly from it. He saw him pop smoke literally immediately. But with the Zis guns falling back, and rightfully so, he's not even really using... Okay, strange decision. He could be using these guys to loft artillery rounds downrange, but he's not going to. Instead, just using hard, like, AP shot. And shooting that poor defenseless truck wreck that had been there in the first place. Obo Soldaten are on the field now. They don't have access to their immediate infiltration grenades because it just got here. But a Raket might be in the area. No, not quite yet. He's finally setting up now. Any second, we'll see it. Now, morning, will Donnie Chan go and invest in a P4? It might be a good decision. I'm saying, suggestion might be a good idea. It does seem in the meantime, though, that this Maxim on the western side has kept the Soviets aggressive and indeed has even allowed them to take a position or two. Although that is not going to last now. We will see this Maxim sliding back and forth, trying to find an effective firing route. Ricketten is going to redeploy, and that T-70 really should consider backing up. First round coming on in. Sturm Pioneers have been able to successfully take the point. Main gun destroyed. If these guys want to wander on it, they might be able to take him out. No, they did not manage to do so. Now, if I'm PnzrGrenadierAngreifen, what am I doing to not alleviate the situation, but to negate this particular situation? Well, let's think about this. As far as commanders go, what do I really want to choose? Guards rifles would be good-ish, so would guard motor, but I would probably not... no, I don't have anywhere near the fuel necessary for the KV-8. But I do have a couple of incendiary artillery barrages possible. Okay, combat engineers are not quite able to push the envelope over here in the center part of the map. And LMG-42 goes down these Obosoldot, and these poor guys are going to get shredded. Just blown to smithereens. Good gosh, they died in what, about 5 seconds? That was a devastating hit. Almost as good as these double Zis guns taking out that AA half-track. That poor guy had about 15, 20 kills. Does a very, very good job. Now, this is only one MG. So, hello, buddy. And PnzrGrenadierAngreifen, for some reason, tossing down a second tank of battalion command. I don't know. I think maybe it's a misclick, I would hope. Or has he given up on this map? Either way, he is down a significant amount, 230. And his machine guns are doing a decent job capturing the fuel to the eastern side, giving it over to the Soviets. And his conscripts are taking this VP right over here to the center east. Although he is losing his own fuel to the west. We're going to see now. He has no idea where anybody is on the map, which is super, super cool, but also just very, very annoying. And we're seeing this big insertion of infantry right through this gap, and that's kind of a brilliant idea. Makes kind of a hell for me as a caster to try to figure out where everyone is. But if we tip over to Donnie Chan, there we go. He's got troops assaulting the Soviet position all over the place. He's got one squad getting pinned down, but that's okay. He's instead moving in Sturm Pioneers to maybe put some more hurt in these guys. No, they kind of have to back away before they get caught out and slain. Now, these Volksgrenadiers are going to back up as well, but not before tossing down an incendiary grenade atop that oh-so-deadly machine gun. Might lose. There we go. There's a little bit of death being dealt. But you know what? Decent enough. He has now taken this point and he's, again, sliced the Soviet position in two. He's going to take out this mortar team. He could take out both of these Zis guns. And indeed, I think he really should be chasing after them. Yep. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, and that's that awesome squad. So he's got the flamethrower and he's got a LMG-42. Now, I will again to see these guys utilized it to their fullest usage here. And he knows artillery barrage is not happening where it needs to, so he really should be pressuring this entire group. But a second artillery barrage doing a lot more work, going to at least force them to move again. And the Soviets continue to hold one of their positions. But I would have liked to have seen, infiltration tactics, infiltration grenades rather, doing some damage on their own. Another model goes down, though. We will see at least maybe one of these guns taken out. There we go. That's one right there. The question is, will he try to blow it up? And the answer to that is we don't know yet. Ooh. He could capture that. I don't think it'd be a great idea, but he could capture it. Nope. He says he wants to capture it. So, this gun's going to take some real losses backing up, I dare think. Either he will, or, okay, Obosoldot are pinned. It's time to retreat. You don't want to lose them. Retreat those guys out as well. And I'm wondering if it would have been better for him to have just lost the entire squad overall. I don't know, but the MT-34 is going to allow him to have a little bit to fall back on. The Triarii, so to speak, of the immediate German army. While these combat engineers will run afoul of a Volksgrenadier Sturm Pioneer squads up on the center line of the map. Wait, did somebody just die? Maybe not. Okay, PanzerGrenadier went for the shock rifle frontline tactics. I was wrong. He's going to try to stick it out, maybe for a KV-8. But shock troops might be enough to stave off imminent defeat. Won't be for the long term. 492 to 204. It's going to be a German trip cap? Yes, it will. Yes, it will. And let's make sure we have all the German units on the map. Destroys the cover in front of this particular crew. We are going to see in the meantime as well that a Maxim's been picked up by the Germans, which means this anti-tank gun is not going to want to be there. The irony of this is that the Germans have rarely built any kind of support weapons for themselves. They have one Raketen and one MG-34. Everything else has been donated to them by the Soviets. And there's in fact that KV-8. Okay, to the east. Okay, so the Opel Soldaten have booby-trapped this point. And unfortunately for these guys, the infiltration grenades did good damage, but it wasn't enough to completely neuter that shock rifle troop. Panther command tank, though, has got more than enough oomph to take out this particular beast. He's got a 45mm pop gun in the first place, so not that much damage is going to be done. And I don't know, do these guys have grenades? No. He actually never ticked up the anti-tank grenade. Something he's going to regret fairly quickly, I should think. Indeed, the KV-8 realizes that his own particular time on the battlefield is probably not the longest to come. But indeed, Donnie Chan continues his dominance over this battle space. 492 to 145. He might lose a couple of tickets here. And is this gun throwing out rounds into the Panther command tank? Not really doing a whole lot, though. In the meantime, Germans might lose their middle position. They will take the eastern one and lose a couple of tickets in the interim. And the Volks just continue their consistent dominance. Maxim's going to put fire into this Raketen. It's a very, very positive step for the Soviets. But still, my friends, they are very much down on army supply, especially against the Germans. And they're very much down on in terms of weaponry. Okay, I don't know why those combat engineers dove so deep. A very foolish idea. Shock troops are finally reinforcing themselves, mortars falling back in disarray, and conscripts are trooping on forwards. But the Germans again have a 1-0 cap, and looks like they might even take all three of them. Nope, they're going to get at least two, though, and that's just as good for them. Meanwhile, KV-8's going to put some burnin' love on these Volksgrenadiers to the east. Do some damage, but they just kind of hop out of the flames and they carry on. Veteran C1? Yeah, Veteran C1. And if I'm the Panther command tank, I'm going hunting for this guy. And just a suggestion, just me. And these Porsche drone pioneers are going to get hammered by this incendiary artillery barrage. They got to run right now. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, the thing does so much damage. It's incredible. The problem with that is it also does friendly damage as well. So friendly fire, remember folks, friendly fire isn't. But Donnie Chan back on the map here for his troops. And I've been surprised. You don't often see that much usage of radio silence, but it's pretty fantastic. This gun might get picked up. There we go. So it gets picked back up. But we could see Germans have sliced another hole into the Soviet position. And if he charges, he'll be able to do some good damage here. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to do that anymore now with the recaptured Zisgun to the west. And the Zisgun that I imagine is somewhere prowling to the east. There it is right there. However, if I am the Germans, even if I lose a squad or two, I'm in decent shape. And again, that Opel Soldaten God Squad, flamethrower, LMG-42, deadly attack. Another incendiary artillery barrage used almost on cooldown. And the Panther ambles over to the western side. Soviets are finally taking some tickets off of the Germans. Artillery flares really going down. Okay, he's looking to find those Zis guns, and he realizes they're not there, at least immediately. Indeed, they're back in base, so if he wanted to, he could probably dive and pick up that tank. But he doesn't want to push his luck, and I can't say I blame him. The easiest way to lose this game is to be stupidly aggressive. Meanwhile, in the east, it's enough for him just to push back some of these troops. And indeed, the shock troops backing away from him should lose at least another model on retreat. Yep, there it goes. One more model makes it out. So that last guy, all by his lonesome, is going back to the dugout. I mean, base. And it's a long walk back to the dugout. Backyard baseball, my friends. That was a fantastic set of games. We're going to see PanzrGrenadier's. They're trying to put down mines? No. In fact, that's still a Soviet mine that's never been defused. Actually, not even remade, actually, at all. Panther Command Tank. Gosh, what's it called? Coordinated Fire. There we go. This gun's going to do some good damage against the Panther Command Tank, except that first the KV-8 goes down, and second of all, these AT guns have 0 backup. Which means, folks, that it's going to be probably a tap-out pretty soon. 451 to 118, PanzerGrenadierAngreifen doesn't have the troops to stay competitive. He's going to be a while before he gets either one of these. If he had been able to hold out for the IS-2, he might have been able to have a potential late game. The IS-2 is a notorious tank killer, notorious everything killer, really. But it doesn't seem to matter. Indeed, this mortar team's going to go down. There we go, that's one right there. These MGs are going to go and suppress the bejesus out of these attacking Soviets. Shock troop's going to throw a grenade out. There we go. A grenade comes in. Obosodatn takes some damage, but you know what? They kind of laugh it off and throw that burst of fire back out towards those shock troops. And indeed, probably going to see them go off on retreat. Yep, there they go. They're dead now too. Dropping the Soviets down to a bare 17 army supply. It's going to drop even precipitously more, but no, PanzerGrenadier taps out. Been replaced by AI 26 minutes and 54 seconds in, leaving the Germans with the big W. Fairly quick one as well. It's a 451 to 86, the final score. And Germans not breaking a sweat too much on that. Not really at all. Winner by way of surrender is Donnie Chan, taking out the PanzerGrenadier himself. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in for that particular game. It was a little bit quicker than other ones I've been recently, but quicker doesn't mean bad, as we can see here. Regardless, if you have a game you want me to check out, email me at connorgaming@gmail.com, and I will check it out and get back to you guys. Hopefully, I would love to feature it on my on the channel. For the time being, though, it's going to be me signing off. So take it easy, everybody. Y'all have a great day. Connor work is history.